I'm Shireen Williams from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and I'm joined by my co-workers Clarence Hill and Drew Davison, and we're here to talk about the Cowboys as America's team. We're in the Cowboys Media Library and surrounded by all kinds of memorabilia, a lot of it with America's team on it. And Clarence, I probably should start by asking Drew if he knows how they got the term America's team, but I think we probably know that he doesn't know the answer to that, so we'll just tell him. It was a 1978 highlight film, Drew, that Bob Ryan, an editor, just coined the term America's team, and it became very popular and stuck, and the Cowboys have since trademarked it. And Bob Ryan said that he noticed that the Cowboys were always on national TV. They were always playing in front of a bunch of fans. People always were wearing jerseys in the stands, even of the opposing team, and so that's kind of how he came up with the idea. And Clarence, we grew up in Texas. When's the first time you remember America's team when you were a kid, and did you feel like you guys as kids called them America's team?
Now, we call them the Cowboys, but I mean, it's always been, you accepted that as the name. That's just part of it. I mean, when I came up, they were already being referred to as America's team, and they were already the most popular football team in Texas and across the country. They were always on TV at 3 o'clock Eastern for the main game in the afternoon. So it was just something, when you're a kid, you don't question that. It's just something you accepted.
Drew, you grew up in Kansas City as a Chiefs fan. What did you think of the Cowboys as America's team, and what do you remember about that term growing up?
Well, I mean, I was born in '85, so my football formative years were during the triplet era, and I always obviously was a Chiefs fan growing up, going to games, but they were always playing at noon on Sunday, and it seemed like I watched the Cowboys every week because, as you said, they were always playing Monday night or in prime time. So, I kind of knew that the Cowboys were different than the Chiefs just because of how many, A, they were winning Super Bowls, and B, just, how much attention they got every day on SportsCenter and the different talk shows.
Tom Landry never liked that term, America's team, Clarence, and from our standpoint, I think we understand why. He thought it kind of made them with the target on their back. But everyone else in the organization seemed to embrace it, and Jerry seems to embrace it too, even now.
Well, yeah, but Jerry's a marketing genius, and it's all about, selling the franchise and selling memorabilia, but he also likes the international attention of the franchise from a marketing standpoint. As Jerry likes to say, it lifts all boats. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with embracing it. The Cowboys are an iconic name. Whether Tom Landry liked it or not, they were considered, America's team when you have the cheerleaders, doing USO tours and going abroad and doing different things and traveling the country to serve our troops. And, they didn't pick the Redskins cheerleaders. They didn't pick the Rams cheerleaders. They picked the Cowboys cheerleaders. They represented America to a certain extent, to that segment. And so it fit. And, on top of the fact that they were on TV all the time and they were successful. And, yeah, certainly in the 70s, there were more successful teams. You could say the Steelers and the Packers, and certainly the Packers were a team owned by the fans, but the Cowboys were the one that struck the chord. They were the one that wore the star. They had the white uniforms and the blue helmet, and that resonated.
The Cowboys in their new practice facility known as the Star in the executive offices upstairs have a wall that has the America's team mural on it, and it's pretty neat. And Drew, you've done a lot of stories on Forbes and where this team ranks as the most valuable sports franchise in the world now. Do you think that says something about them as America's team?
Oh, without a question. Kind of the flip side to being America's team is you kind of become a polarizing team because it's easy to hate, the Cowboys. If you look around the country, it's kind of like the Yankees. The Yankees are the most recognizable baseball franchise out there by far, and they're polarizing. People either like them or hate them. You have an opinion, and I think the Cowboys and Jerry Jones have kind of embraced being that villain to some, the hero to another, and I think you can definitely see that through how much money they've generated and how much value they have, just because everyone knows them. For right, wrong, otherwise, everyone knows the Dallas Cowboys.
Clarence, you're kind of the veteran on this beat. You've been here for like 20 years. when you go on the road with the Cowboys, can you kind of describe to people what it's like to be, I say it's sort of like the Beatles, but to be in their team hotel and to be waiting and to go to games, and sometimes the buses are egged and things like that. What kind of stuff have you seen when you go on the road with the Cowboys?
I think that's evolved. Certainly when I initially started in the beat, they were fresh off being the team of the 90s and 3 Super Bowl titles, and certainly there was a different fanfare surrounding the Cowboys back then when you still had Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders and those guys who were stars among stars, not just in Dallas but in the league. Certainly it was, the hotels were packed and fans would stand outside the hotel waiting on the team buses to get autographs. And the funny thing is it's been 20 years since the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl, and they have exactly 500 records since 1997. Actually, they're one game under 500, and now they lost the season opener. So I think some of the star is not shining as bright, but it's still the Cowboys, and they still do get a lot of people at the hotel. And I do remember, the times, the buses were egged in Oakland and certainly in Philadelphia, and you get people shooting the finger and everything at the buses when we did ride the buses into the stadium. But I think that the shine is not the same as it was, but it still shines brightly, especially when you compare it to other teams across the league. It's still bright. It's just not what it was, not what it once was, because the team has not been good for a while.
1995, as Clarence said, was the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Do we think because of that, and Michael Irvin insists that America's team doesn't have to do with winning and losing, but Drew, let's start with you. Do you think the Cowboys, because they haven't won in so long, are still America's team?
Oh yeah, I do, and it's because they still get the primetime games. They still generate TV ratings. They still, generate interest and build, places like the Star, $1 billion practice facility. Who would have thought, a football team would be practicing with marble floors, kind of leading to the locker room. So I think they still are America's team in terms of their popularity and the interest level they generate. But with that being said, I don't think they're America's team. Like Clarence said, they were the darlings of the 90s, winning Super Bowls with all these household names. Are they that team? No, but they're still among the most recognizable franchises out there.
Cowboys were 4-12 last season, yet despite that, they had the 3 highest TV rated shows in America last season. Same question to you, Clarence. You think they're still America's team?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's some bloom off the rose, but the rose is still the rose. I mean, there's no question that they're still America's team, and they still strike a chord with the country and with fans that love them and fans that love to hate them. They still watch them, and certainly they're going to get some of the biggest TV ratings, and they have stars in Dez Bryant and Tony Romo and even owner Jerry Jones that resonates with people that they want to watch them, and that's all part of it. It's not just they're America's team because people pay attention to them, win or lose, and again they've been in a long losing streak, but people still watch them, they still pay attention to them, they still resonate with people.
If we were going to name another team to challenge the Cowboys as America's team, what would that team be?
I would be the Green Bay Packers. There's no question. There are people that can make cases for, I guess, the Steelers or the Patriots, or name the Patriots, but it would be the Green Bay Packers. There's no question about that.
I agree with that. I have to say the Green Bay Packers. You can buy stock in the Green Bay Packers. It might be meaningless, but you can buy stock in the Packers.
Yeah, well, I would argue the Patriots right now just because of they are kind of the Cowboys of the 90s with how many Super Bowls they've gone to with Tom Brady and so many recognizable stars when you look at Brady and Gronk and some of their Bill Belichick's kind of, this coaching legend right now. And they're a team that I think, people have an opinion on, whereas the Packers, I don't know if as many people hate them, so to speak, and I think you kind of need that to be considered America's team. You got to have that love-hate relationship, and I think it's easier to hate the Patriots than it is the Packers.
Thank you for joining us on the Star Telegram. I'm Shireen Williams, and with Drew Davison and Clarence Hill.